Anyị na-ekele mmadụ niile gbakọrọ ebe a tata. Anyị ma na anyị nwere ndị si n'otu dị iche iche wee nọdụ ebe a tata. Anyị na-ekele onye ọbụla, ma ndị si n'otu ndọrọ ndọrọ dị iche iche, ma ndị ọrụ aka, ma ndị ọrụsị, ma ndị otu na-ekwuru ụmụ ogbenye, ma ndị nta akụkọ na ndị ọzọ dị iche iche, ndị ọha na eze. Anyị na-asị unu nnọọ. Ka anyị na-achọ ibido ife anyị bịara ebe a maka ya tata. Unu mana ndị nọ n'isi ife anyị na-eme ebe a tata bụ ndị otu Naịjirịa nke na-afụ maka nrụrịta ụka nke nhọpụta. Ka anyị na-ebido, anyị na-ayọ ka onye ọbụla nọ ebe a malụ na-enwere iwu achọrọ ka onye ọbụla debe. Anyị achọrọ ka akụọ aka. Onwegide onye kwuru ife bụ uche gị, akụnarị ya aka, were obi kụọrọ ya anya bụ aka. Onwe onye kwuru ife abụrụ uche gị, amụna ya amụ, emena ya akaja, ma ọ bụ ime ụfọdụ dị aṅaa. Nke ọbụla ị na-eme, were obi umee ya iji wee bie okwu a mkpirikpi. Ife anyị chọrọ bụ ka onye ọbụla nọ ebe a, n'agbanyeghị na o nweghị afọ ị na-aza, ka onye ọbụla aza nnọdụ mene. Ka onye ọbụla aza gịnị? Nnọdụ mene. Sọsọ n'anya ka anyị ga-ada ene ife na-eme ebe a. Onwe ndị na-agbanyụbero ekwentị fa, anyị chọrọ ka fa gbanyụọ ya, ma ọ bụ tinye n'ọnọdụ nke akụpụtaghị akụpụta. Anyị ama achọ ka anyị nụ mkpọtụ ekwentị. Anyị na-ayọkwa na anyị achọrọ ka anyị fụ ndị ga-ekpu okpu ma ọ bụ yiri efe na-egosi ndọrọndọrọ, otu ndọrọndọrọ nke a ma ọ bụ otu ndọrọndọrọ nke ọzọ. Anyị chọrọ ka onye ọbụla n'ọrụ onwe ya ka e wee mee ife na-eme ebe a. Anyị na-ayọ unu ka unu tinye uchu n'ife a na-eme. Unu na-anya ụfụ na onweghị akwụkwọ e nyere iji wee ndị mmadụ ikwu ife achọpụtara. Nya ka uche unu dị ya, ka unu na-anya gee ntị ọfụma ọfụma ka ndị ga-ekwu okwu ga-ekwu. Unu ewere uche unu mara ife unu kwesịrị imenụ. Anyị na-ekene onye ọbụla na-asị unu nnọọ n'afa Jizọs. The audience is not allowed to interrupt, applaud, or say anything in the course of the debate. Members of the audience will be drawn from professional associations, civil rights organizations, media, labor, the academia, students, political parties, the organized private sector, the diplomatic corps, women, youth, physically challenged, senior citizens, religious organizations. It is important to let us know also that there will be no scores recorded for the debate. Candidates must focus only on issues and be positive. Language shall be gubernatorial, dignified, and that which enhances the good image of the office of Governor of Anambra State. Candidates shall exhibit friendship, love, patriotism, and be truly happy to see each other, shake hands before and after the debate. Governorship and deputy governorship candidates shall be formally presented with certificates of participation after each election debate. This is for the note of all. Thank you.
welcome to the Women Development Center, OCA, the venue of Anambra State Governorship debates organized by the Nigeria Elections Debate Group. NEDG is a coalition of the Nigerian media, professional associations, women, youths, and civil society organizations. The state's governorship debates program is endorsed by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, BORN, and National Orientation Agency. 23 political parties have been invited to participate in the election debates. We have relied strictly on the approved list of candidates issued by the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC. The debates series started with 2 sessions for the deputy governorship candidates held on the 29th of October 2013. Today, the 31st of October 2013, we have 2 sessions for... We apologize for that. Today, we have 2 sessions for the governorship candidates. This morning and at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The final round is scheduled for tomorrow, 1st of November 2013, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The rules are the same for every session. At this junction, let me also reiterate that the audience is not allowed to clap, to cheer, or to boo. And everyone in the audience, please switch off your phones or you put them on silent mode. For the candidates, I also want to emphasize that you have 2 minutes for your opening statements, 1 minute for your rebuttal, 2 minutes to answer each question, and when we get to the closing remarks, you have 2 minutes. This event is streamed live on the website www.nedg.ng. The audience is encouraged to go on the Facebook page www.facebook.com/official NEDG to share your comments as well as your opinions for feedback. At this point, let's introduce the candidates. We already have 5 of them on the podium, and I will start my introduction from ACD, that's the Advanced Congress of Democrats. He is Dr. Ifatu Ekelem. The next candidate representing the ACPN, which is the Allied Congress Party of Nigeria, is Engineer Anthony Anene. The representative of the candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, is Chief Anayo Igweze, while Senator Chris Mwabweze Ngige is the candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC. Okay. The candidate of the Citizens Popular Party, CPP, is Chief Austin Wangu. I'm being told now that the candidate of ABGA, the All Progressive Grand Alliance, is here, so can we invite him to the podium, please, very quickly. Okay, the candidate of the Action for Democracy, that is AD, is Comrade Aaron Igweze.
Alliance for Democracy.
Alliance for Democracy. Okay. While we wait for the candidate of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, ABGA, I am the moderator, Nancy Ilo. Also on the panel with me, from my immediate left is
Ide Egwabo.
And to my right is
Imoni Amarere.
And the timekeeper for today is Cyril Aidebama. The candidate for the All Progressive Grand Alliance, ABGA, Chief Willie Maduabuchi Obiano, we're waiting for you so that we could just kickstart this debate in a second. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. While we're waiting for the candidates of ABGA to join the podium, at this point, let me invite the chairman of the NEDG, Aremo Taiwo Alimi.
Good morning. From the Women's Development Center, OKA, I welcome you to the continuation of the 2013 governorship and deputy governorship debates in Anambra State, organized by the Nigerian Elections Debates Group, NEDG. My name is Taiwo Alimi. The NEDG election debates will today feature the governorship candidates unfolding their plans for Anambra State and the strategies of implementation before a radio and television live audience, nationally and internationally. The NEDG debate platform is the greatest opportunity for candidates to speak to millions of citizens of Anambra and Nigerians at home and abroad on their programs and development initiatives agenda before a radio, television live audience. The responses NEDG has been receiving from citizens of Anambra State at home and abroad have been overwhelming and inspiring since the commencement of the debates on Tuesday, 29th October 2013, with 2 sessions of the deputy governorship candidates. NEDG debates are issue-based and issue-driven, not persons, not religion, not ethnicities, and the debates are designed at setting public agenda by the candidates, which may form the basis of policy formulation and direction of government. Once again, I welcome you to the first round of the NEDG governorship debates in Anambra State. I now proceed to hand over the envelopes containing the questions to the moderator and panelists, which they will be seeing for the first time. Thank you most sincerely.
Okay, while the chairman of the NEDG, Taiwo Aremo Alimi, was giving his opening remarks, the governorship candidate of the Action Alliance came on stage. He is Okeke Chika Jerry. Thank you for joining us. I want to emphasize that candidates facing us today are not allowed to read from prepared text. It's a debate, so you're all debaters. Thank you, and I hope we would adhere to the rules strictly. At this point, let's get started. And the first question will be to the candidate of the Action Alliance. Share with Anambrians today, watching you on television as well as sitting down here in the audience, why you want to be the governor of the state, what is your vision for Anambra State, and what do you have for the development and well-being of the citizens of the state?
Thank you very much. I'm Okeke Chika Jerry. I'm a youth and an Anambrarian. For a lot while now, we discovered that so many youths of Anambra State have not been put into good use. Some of them, after being used as political thugs to achieve political aims, they are dumped and not employed. And that is why we have a lot of insecurity problems in Anambra State. So many of us are energetic. We want to get employment. I myself, I also experienced that. When I finished from Nedg University in 2005, I fought tooth and nail to get a job in this state. I couldn't. I then started Little Thing Publishing because I am good in writing books. After having written so many books, I opened my publication company and I started employing youth. Within that little space of years, I employed over 500 youths. So if I can do that as a person, I believe that if I are given the mandate to be the governor of Anambra State, I will employ so many youths in Anambra instead of using them and dumping them. So, and I believe that when youths are employed, a lot of problems we have in Anambra State will be over. Instead of using guns, chasing them around. Because these people are very hungry. And a hungry man is an angry man. So for this sole reason, I decided to come out as a candidate in a neutral party. Because you see, so many people, when they win an election in a particular party, you see them having a lot of problems, going to court here and there. Before, at the end of every 4-year tenure, you see them achieving nothing because of 1 or 2 problems that have caused among themselves in the party. So I decided to come out through a neutral party, a party people are not known.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
The same question goes to the candidate of the ACD. Introduce yourself. Tell us your vision for Anambra.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anambrarians. We love you all. We love the organizing committee, my fellow contestants here, and the panel there. My name is Dr. Ifatu Akalam. I'm a medical doctor. I'm a super specialist. I've been a doctor for 33 years. I'm based in the United States. I've been in the United States for 30 years. I'm a byproduct of what is good in Anambra. Anambra gave me the scholarship that I used, the University of Ibadan, finished 74, left for the United States in 83. But for the 30 years I've been in the United States, the past 15 years particularly has been a horror playbook for Anambrarians. We've had politicians turn into despots and demagogues, and like he said, literally abuse their own people, directly or indirectly. They become gods instead of being public servants, and they've turned public service into self-service. As he said, as a result of that, public funds have been misappropriated and not put into the best use. Consequentially, you have massive youth unemployment from 4% in 1974 when I was a medical student to 95% right now. It's totally, horribly unacceptable in a country that ranks about the 10th richest nation in the world. And the only problem we have is bad leadership and bad governance. As a result of the massive, grossly massive unemployment, like he said, an idle mind is a devil workshop. You now have kidnapping, you have 419, you have all sorts of criminality. Even our young, beautiful, wonderful girls, sometimes they have to turn into prostitution to be able to make things for themselves. That is horribly unacceptable. I cannot accept it while I'm in the United States. So for the past 15 years, I decided to get into the polity because they're hoping that all the bad things will drive away the good people and then we're left with nonsense. That's why I'm here. I'm here to reverse it. We can do better.
Thank you.
We are Igbos.
Thank you. ACPN, please, your vision and introduce yourself.
Yeah. Good morning, all. My name is Engineer Tony Anene. I'm a civil engineer for the past 25 years. I studied in University Gesamthochschule in Germany. I majored in structures and highways. I came down to Anambra State to put things right. The economy is in shambles. In fact, it's in a dire strait. It needs to be rescued immediately. The Anambrarians work too much for little, while others live to work, work to live. Now, massive unemployment, which causes crime. That's why I came here. The Anambrarian must enjoy the dividends of democracy. Since inception of this democracy, they haven't enjoyed anything. So I came down here to put things right. I'm going to employ them. I'm going to make everybody feel happy in this state. That's why I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. The candidate of the AD.
I am Comrade Aaron Igweze, a journalist, former state auditor, NUG Anambra State Council, member Anambra State All Farmers Association of Nigeria, a cooperator, and so on. I thank the organizers of this forum because it seems we are now coming to study what is good. Some people say they come overseas. When they come here, they will not even effect changes. I am a grassroots politician. Having brought up by Dr. Anambra since 1979, we were in NPP. I looked at what is happening in Anambra State, and I feel there's need for, let me not say change, but deviation from the status quo, which is not moving well. For instance, the government of AD here, we run an open-door administration. As a journalist, we will be plain and jovial and sociable to people. We have to cater for the downtrodden, the masses. But here, what we see is what I call Kabbalistic Godfatherism, and it's spoiling things for us. We have to go down and use that people, tell them the correct thing, make sure the farmers, the traders, all the people are doing their things right. We have to abandon the idea of born-to-rule syndrome so that we can make moves. Let me stop so far for now.
Okay, thank you. The candidate of the APC, your vision, and introduce yourself.
Members of the panel, Ndi Anambra, Ekenemunu. I am Senator Chris Mwabwezengige, Officer Order of the Niger, OON. I am a medical doctor of 34 years standing. I'm also a health systems manager by training, and I'm a politician. Because of my politics, I've been the Assistant National Secretary, foundation member of the People's Democratic Party. I left this party to form the AC, Action Congress, with other like-minded progressives in Nigeria. Today, I'm in the APC fold, but more importantly, in my career, I was the governor of this state from May 29, 2003 to 15th of March, 2006. People ask, what do you do? What have you forgotten in the government house? Even though a lot of Anambrarians had asked me to come back through telephone call, SMS, and written letters. I want to say that I want to come back because 70% of my blueprint when I was here, and which I left on the table of the incumbent outgoing governor, had not been implemented. I want to come back to implement them. And they run in the areas of security of life and property, which have taken flight here. They run in the areas of education. The free education scheme I instituted here is no longer for the poor. Education is for the rich in this state. I'm not happy about it. In the area of health system have crumbled. Our hospitals are now makeshift places for goods to go in. Doctor strike for 1 year. It's unacceptable to me. In the area of transportation,
Thank you.
Road transport and air transport.
Let's move to the next candidate of ABGA. Please introduce yourself and tell us your vision for the state.
First, my apologies for being late. There was a road accident here, and I had to go right round. That wasted my time a lot. My name is Filio Biano. I'm here because I want to bring to bear my experience as a chartered accountant for over 24 years, and a world-class banker, and number 2 man for 9 years for a world-class bank. I want to bring those experiences to take Anambra to the next level, and that next level is industrialization with the attendant job creation opportunities. Those things will be achieved under 4 pillars: in agriculture, in trade and commerce, in oil and gas, and agriculture, trade and commerce, oil and gas, and commerce and industrialization. And to support that industrialization, I will continue with items, the things on education, power, infrastructure, health, security, environment, housing, tourism, youths, judiciary, civil service, women, and children. And this, if successfully completed, will lead to high GDP for Anambra State, jobs, 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 shelter, food for all, social security, capital inflows, modernization, and exports. Back to my the 4 pillars. On agriculture, I intend to mechanize agriculture in the 4 basins, basically in Ayamelum, in Anambra East and West, in Obaru, in Orumba North and South. And the core products that we'll be looking at will be cassava, maize, and cassava, maize, and rice. These, when done properly, will energize the state base, and that will lead to attracting industries in processing, in packaging, in manufacturing, and of course, this is jobs for the state, and revenue for the government. Also, in oil and gas, we're going to ensure that...
Thank you.
Thank you.
The candidates of the CPP, please. The same question.
The Anambra Ekenemuno. Panelists, fellow candidates, my name is Mazi Austin Wang. I'm a trained brewer, trained in Germany, a pollution control expert, an environmental consultant, a consultant to the World Bank, to UNDP on environmental management. I'm a community leader and a good citizen of Anambra State. Anambra State has been declared for a long time an environmental ecological disaster area. This is as good a time as any for an expert in this area to come and reposition the state. You cannot contextualize any kind of development if you don't protect the environment. The story about Anambra State and gullies is very well known. Flooding was a very big event here sometime last year with whole communities gone. Yes, we will do all of that. Employment, education, agriculture. But first, everything will depend on the environment. And this is not a time for anybody who is not well versed with conservation, which is the paradigm everywhere. Everybody is talking about the environment, global warming, and so on. We're going to have many adverse environmental events all over. Therefore, in repositioning the environment, we also have to worry about why can't we feed ourselves? This is the most energetic, the most productive state in Nigeria, with citizens that are so resourceful. Yet we're busy in commerce, making money, without thinking about how people are going to feed. Now, with our productive lands gone, where are we going to have agriculture? Where are we going to produce? So agriculture first is the key. The people have to be able to feed themselves.
Thank you very much. I also want to emphasize again that we may not read from prepared text, but you've been given pieces of paper so you can jot whatever comes to your mind. All right, I'll go to my fellow panelists. Timoni.
Thank you very much. This question is for the candidate of ACD. We begin with you. You have 2 minutes to answer this question. What do you consider to be the greatest developmental challenge of Anambra State today? And what would be your priority in your first 100 days in office?
Well, there are multiple. By the way, if I might just reiterate of the SCD, Dr. Fatu Ekalam. Well, in terms of development, almost every area, there are deficits in those areas. But you have to create a situation whereby those developments can occur. So technically, you have to wipe out, or try as much as you can to wipe out unemployment, and particularly among our youths, and then create a situation where security can prevail. When you do that, then all sorts of industrialization will begin to occur, particularly building roads. Roads everywhere, particularly at the capital, in Onitsha, Nnewi, and the list goes on. So how do you fix unemployment? You use some of the money that we receive and some that could be given to us by the World Bank, by United States, by all sorts of charitable organizations and NGO to pay everybody, every youth that's employable, particularly if they've done youth corps and they've been unemployed, like my honorable comrade around next to me here from the AA party. You pay them $20,000 a month. This is done everywhere. It's done in the United States, it's done in Ghana. Unemployed gets $20,000 every other month in Ghana. We do it here, $20,000 every month, and then they contribute 40 hours. It's not for free. It's not for them to sit around the shop in the morning and drink beer. No. They give us 40 hours. That 40 hours will be invested in a new department of insecurity, Department of Vigilante. All right? We have morning, afternoon, and night shift. All right? And this could be developed with what we have, and there'll be CCTV everywhere. If they have problems with kidnappers or criminals, then they will allow the police and the army. As soon as you do that and create an enabling environment that is secure, then all sorts of industrialization will commence. Okay? You have to build the roads. You have to build an airport.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Candidate of the ACPN.
Yeah, my take to that is industrialization. The first 100 days here, I'll be in the office. I must make sure I get up to 4 blue chip industries to Anambra. You see, we have problem here. Everybody thinks that it's only government that can provide jobs. Government cannot provide jobs. Government creates enabling environment. You know, you bring in investors, they come here, then they invest in Anambra. The masses will have employment, therefore, thereby creating middle class. And you know, in any country where there's no middle class, the economy is in shambles. It's only the middle class that holds the economy. So I will create the middle class.
Thank you very much, candidate of AD. What do you consider to be the greatest developmental challenge of Anambra State that would occupy your time in the first 100 days in office?
Well, I will say that unemployment, quite all right, is a challenge. But, you know, in addition, we have bad roads. So that people like living in the hinterland, farming, like I've said, I'm a farmer, they don't see how to produce their crops and bring them to the township. If we cannot talk of engaging job without enabling conditions. If we build our roads, prepare ourselves, give farmers and cooperative incentives to farm, that is already job created by itself. Others will not come in. We can now use those products to make byproducts, which will now attract industrialists even from outside the country and outside the state. I think if all these things are done, the issue of unemployment will be reduced practically, not by speaking. So that is my own priority.
Thank you very much. Candidate of the APC.
By the Nigerian Constitution, Chapter 2, Section 14, the security of lives and property of the citizen is cardinal. It's the fundamental job of any government. And after that, the social welfare scheme for your people in terms of education, health, feeding, food security, and housing. So I must tackle the issue of security of lives and property, which has evaporated from here in the first 100 days. And as a patient that has come to me, the patient is diseased. So I must give curative approach first, before the preventive approach. The preventive approach is that of creation of jobs, so that you get the youth employed through youth schemes, graduate youth schemes, but you must tackle the security directly now through using the police and other security agencies like the vigilante services and procurement of new security gadgets to secure your state. When I was here in 2003, I put up substations and repeater stations.
Thank you.
For the police.
Candidate of ABGA.
Well, I will drive this process through the 4 pillars. Agriculture, mechanized agriculture in the food basins of Anambra State. Orumba North and South for their rice, Ayamelum, Anambra East and West, Obaru, and the neighboring areas there. Basically, what mechanization will do is to increase the food production. And this naturally will attract industries that are in those areas: storage, processing, manufacturing, and what have you. And that will be job for people. The essence of job for people is that it will reduce the people that will constitute the security menace that we have. When more people are employed, it reduces that quantum that will be policeable, you know. Then the next area that we're going to do things like that is in the area of oil and gas. Within the first 100 days, I can assure you that the refinery that is situated...
Thank you very much. Candidate of the CPP.
Yeah, in the first 100 years, security should be key because we know most investors are running away from the state because of insecurity. I will consult widely with the people and restore their hope that there is a new government in power with new ideas, ready to listen, ready to apply basic and modern management practices in governance. Insecurity, it is mostly associated with the youth. The youth have to be helped. We are energetic people. They have to come back and start looking for ways of self-employment. And the government is in the best position to help them to rediscover their talents. Right now, there is despondency everywhere. Nobody is sure what is happening. You need to rediscover the talents, the energies of the people, and get the society functioning. In 100 years, then the others will come in. Agriculture, education, health, and so on.
Thank you very much. Candidate of AA.
Thank you very much. We discovered that we have a lot of people who are hungry in Anambra State because of insensitiveness of the government of the day. We have moved into agriculture first. We are going to use 50% of political appointee salary because I will reduce the salaries of political appointees whom I will appoint by 50%. We use that money and invest it in agriculture. And we are going to employ between March and August 20,000 youths into Anambra State civil service. We move them into agriculture. We produce food massively for people. And I assure you, we are going to pay the civil servants 18,000 naira minimum wage. They have a lot of money to empower the youth in their families to start little businesses. With all this, the issue of security is solved without shooting a gun. We have to be sincere to the government of the day and move Anambra State forward. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Ide.
The ACPN will take on this question first. Irrigation is a major threat to all kinds of economic activities in Anambra State. Can you just give us what your blueprint will be to tackle this menace?
Irrigation?
Erosion.
Okay. Yes. As a seasoned civil engineer, Anambra State is in a developmental stage. So who develops a state is a civil engineer. Now, erosion. If you go to Nanka, you see the menace. Oko side, you see the menace. Agolo here, you see the menace. Now, they haven't tackled this in headlong. I'm going to tackle this headlong by building retaining walls there, converting that erosion menace into a sports facility. People will go there to do their gym or anything with the facilities I will provide there. I will beautify those areas. So I'm going to handle erosion very, very well. Thank you.
Nedg?
Well, erosion is a dragon-head monster here. Although I will say that the magnitude of erosion here is not, the state cannot do it alone. My government will make application to federal government to come to our assistance. But in the interim, as I have said, there's what we call jatropha coccus. It's a plant which can be used to check erosion. As a fund member, I'll make sure we massively import it so that we start using it before the federal government and other agencies will come to our help. I think by doing that, we must have done something. Thank you very much.
The APC, please.
Yes, Mr. Moderator. Erosion is a very big cankerworm here. And I think if you pass through some roads in the hinterland of Anambra State, you will see the type of roads I have built there. They're anti-erosion roads. There's no road there that doesn't have drainages on both sides to collect the surface water that has gone onto the roads. You protect the road by that, so doing, and also control erosion. In places where we have erosion, because there are about 400 active sites here in Anambra State, we will do direct confrontation with dikes and walls and whatever to stop further surge of the erosion. We will plant trees. Cashew trees are anti-erosion trees. Even palm trees are anti-erosion trees. We will also come out with a government policy on erosion, so that if you are building a house or you want to build, you bring your plan for the erosion control department to approve for you. What has happened is that people have been building, scatteredly and without planning, and so government will have to intervene in this direction.
The Abga.
The World Bank, in liaison with the current administration, mapped out 750 sites for erosion control. And a lot of work has gone in over 250 sites. And we will continue to, there will be a continuation in terms of providing the dikes and what have you. But what is fundamental in curing erosion is a policy in place. The House of Assembly here should be able to pass a law that will make people not to do things that will assist erosion. Basically, in the area of cutting of the roads, for burying of wires and what have you. Planting of trees is relevant, tree for all, 1 tree a day for many other areas will assist in erosion control. Other things that will be relevant to erosion, one thing is important here. The state government does not have the money to do erosion. This money comes from donor agencies. And I'm the only fellow amongst us here that can attract money from donor agencies. Purely.
The CPP, please.
Yes, the solution is simple: risk reduction. The habits of our people and normal environmental conditions expose us to erosion, our soil types, and so on and so forth. Now, I was the head of the group that prepared Anambra State policy on flood and erosion control. And the whole purpose was to enlighten people, to teach them skills in risk reduction. I am going to make sure it is consummated. I've done it with the World Bank, teaching people in all the communities, 177 communities, about things they have to do. Things like water conservation, things like having vegetation in their compounds instead of having pavements to prevent concentrated runoffs and so on. But the most important thing is to educate the people. An educated mind will be able to take care of himself. So risk reduction, teaching people to be mindful of the environment and conserve the soil. These are the key things. Then there is NewMap. NewMap is the World Bank project. The due diligence is taking so much time. I will help to speed it up because every rainy season worsens the situation. So we cannot afford to wait. We know what to do.
The candidate of the AA, please.
Okay, erosion problem is nothing to me because my first course is civil engineering and second course is geological sciences in Nedg University. So if I'm elected the governor of Anambra State, let me tell you, the erosion problem in Anambra will be over because we need proper drainage. Drainage, drainage, drainage. That's all. We solve that problem once and for all. Thank you.
The SCD.
Things don't happen in a vacuum. The erosion is a consequence of bad governance, misappropriation of funds, and neglecting multiple roads and feeder roads that needs to be built. If you build all the roads properly and build all the drainage properly and secure retaining walls where they are supposed to be secured, you won't have erosion problems. Erosion problem is a consequence of all the after effect of every problem cells, every other problem we have. So we have to concentrate, first of all, take care of unemployment, have security in place, and then begin massive road construction. In fact, if I have my way, it will be against the law to drive a car in a road that's not paved. Absolutely against the law. This is unacceptable. We must be getting better, not worse. Our state is in a worse state than it can ever be. We are Igbos and we are Anambra. We're supposed to be the best and nothing else. But when people misdirect things and focus on nonsense, infighting among parties and all sorts of things, then we have problems.
Thank you. The audience, please, you are not allowed to chair and as well as clap or direct attacks on the candidates. Okay, the next question is for the AD. Shelter is a human basic necessity. Do you think that there is a shortfall in housing needs in Anambra State? If you think so, how will your administration tackle that challenge?
Thank you very much. I very much believe that shelter is necessary and we are lacking it. So my government will try as much as we can to establish areas where we can build low-cost housing for people, especially the workers. Then, if that is done, it will help to reduce that shelter vacuum. Then people will be encouraged as well, like the big men, not only going to sponsor politics, they have to sponsor building shelters for people, so that people will not get shelter. It will be to the credit of the people and all of us. So I will make all efforts to see that it is reduced. I believe it is a problem, but effort will make to reduce it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. APC.
Yeah, we can get people to be sheltered because it's one of the social things that government can give to our people. Before I left here, I had opened up 2 residential estates. One is in Gozika Estate over there in Oka, and we tried to open up another one at Onisha, Hillview Estate. We have to also do low-cost housing because not everybody will go to build duplexes. Before I left here, I had given labor a land for their low-cost housing scheme. And we also have to assist people with low-interest loan-free for housing. Government, the government that I will chair when I come in here will make sure we do that for workers in particular and for those who are not in the middle class but in the lower class rung of the society. We have also to look at the private partnership because government shouldn't go into everything. A PPP program with a contractor.
Abga, please.
Shelter is critical for my administration. Currently, there's a blueprint on shelter in Anambra State. Basically, in Oka and Oka capital environment and Onitsha and the Nnewi area. What is required is to put facilities on those areas, which is about 50% accomplished as we speak, which will complete by the time we come in, to ensure that there's water, electricity, good roads. That will attract the Anambra and World Bank and other related agencies to put out housing for our people here. Secondly, we are going to help our people source one-digit interest rate loan from Federal Mortgage Bank. We have done it successfully as a bank, at Fidelity Bank. I'm going to bring that experience to ensure that all the civil servants and what have you are in a position to take this loan under a structure that the state government will guarantee.
Thank you. CPP.
Yes. Housing is a major problem in this state with a workforce of about 38,000 workers. So many of them live outside Anambra State and commute here to work because they cannot find accommodation. So it should be a program for every responsible government to make sure there is a low-cost housing scheme in every local government to house people, to create opportunities for people with very soft loans with very low interest that will make sure that over a period of, say, 25 years, people can begin to own the houses that have been allocated to them. But first, there should be land use planning. We shouldn't be locating houses anywhere. First, there should be mapping of the state to know those sensitive areas where houses will be destroyed through flooding or erosion, and make sure the areas are secured and people can have good habitation over a period of time without any risk of losing their premises. And besides, most importantly, when people are employed and they have homes, they are more responsible, they are more responsive to governance.
Thank you. Candidates of the AA.
First of all, I will build staff quarters in all the local government areas where the civil servants will live at a very affordable rate. And I will make sure that we will build a lot of good hostels in secondary schools and in tertiary institutions where people should pay little amount of money to get them. I will establish a very wonderful housing estate in Onitsha, Nnewi, and Oka to ensure that people live massively. And I will meet with all the landlords in Anambra State to think on how to reduce housing rates in Anambra State. Thank you very much.
Thank you. ACD, please.
Well, to solve this problem, obviously government cannot do everything. There's what they call the homeless shelters that they have, say, United States. Most of those are funded by philanthropists, by churches, by donations. And one advantage that I believe I have, is that my level of integrity is almost impeccable, and I've lived in the United States for 30 years. So I intend to attract a lot of NGO funds and funds from a lot of philanthropists to solve this problem, because we're regarded as a poor state, extremely poor. where the infant mortality is almost alarmingly high, 200 per thousand. It's unthinkable, all right? So we attract these funds and we use it to build multiple shelters across the state. I encourage the Catholic churches and the Anglican churches to invest in that. And then government, as soon as it gets its grip on unemployment, insecurity, would then focus on building a lot of low-cost housing for staffs, for students, and all whatnot. So the sky is the limit.
Thank you. ACPN, please.
Yeah, since I'm going to run my government is for the masses. Shelter, I believe everybody should have a roof over his or her head. Now, the so-called low-cost housing is no longer low-cost. It's gone to, the prices are now very, very high. So I'm introducing a new type of building using a cold formed steel. It's now being tested in Abuja. I'm in contact with them. They're going to come here and build massively houses for the people to live in. A comfortable house, if you see it, is better than the so-called low-cost housing. So this is my idea about shelter.
Thank you. Imoni. APC.
All right, the next question, we're looking at industrialization, and this question goes to the APC candidate. First, in the past, Anambra State used to have very large number of industries. But today, most of those industries are moribund, and Anambra State has become just a trading post, contrary to what it used to be. Now, if you get elected as governor of Anambra State, how do you intend to revive the industries in Anambra State?
Yeah, thank you very much. Your observation is quite correct. The industries in Anambra State that have gone moribund and that are dead in the region of about 3,000 plus. And if you stretch it into the belt, in Imo to about, it's about 4,000 or 5,000. Problem is energy, electricity. Electricity is a federal concern, but nothing stops a state government from synergizing with the federal government to give electricity to her citizens. It's been done in Rivers State, it's been done in Akwa Ibom State. People will talk about fund. No. If you know what to do, you can do it at moderate cost. What we will do here first is to make sure that Anambra State gets at least 1,000 megawatts of electricity for the consumption of our citizens. And it's simple. We can do it through the power plant. Then get more injector stations. Luckily, what the federal government has done today is enough in terms of this distribution inward. But generation and transmission is what is the problem. The industries will come back to life. And when they come back to life, they will employ. The industries are scattered. And when we talk about industries, you are talking about the formal one. How about the informal one? The informal one, barber shop, tailoring, welding, they're little industries. They're informal sector. So when you get this done through electricity, you will have kickstarted the whole process. Agro-based industries will also thrive when you put agriculture in the Ayamelum Basin and the Omambala Basin and produce enough food. Whether it is tomato, you can convert them to tomato puree industry, through the tomato puree industry. Whether it's apple juice industry, it's rice milling industries of various stages, and even irrigation. All these things must be powered. So the industrialization in Anambra State, I will kickstart it with tackling the energy problem here headlong.
Thank you very much, candidate of ABGA.
My 4 pillars will help in industrialization of Anambra State. First, on agriculture. Mechanizing agriculture clearly will lead to industries in that area coming, processing, packaging, manufacturing, and what have you. Also in oil and gas, as we speak, the refinery has the capacity, the refinery that will be fully installed within the 9 months of our administration will have the capacity for 45. Installed doesn't mean by the government, the enabling environment provided to enable already install it. It's 95% metric tons. Sorry, barrels per day refinery. Those things will create industries in the oil and gas area. But beyond that, there's a plan the state has done 450 megawatts of energy that will take off the first quarter of 2015. You know, the capacity required to satisfy the whole of Anambra as we speak now is only 370 kilowatts of energy.
Thank you. Candidate of the CPP.
Yeah, industrialization will surely be a major solution to the problem of employment.
Please, please, audience, please.
We are going to make sure the agricultural sector is developed through mechanization, through improved cropping and high-yield agriculture. This is the only industrialization that can make sense now. But the infrastructure will be created till there is enough power. Using the minerals that are scattered all over Anambra State. Every part of Anambra State has one very important mineral. You have bauxite, you have iron ore, you have lignite, you have clay. These are the basis of what is going to be an industrial revolution. But first, there must be the power infrastructure. But the framework has to be laid ahead of time. Agriculture, agriculture. All over our markets, fruit juices and so on. We import, whereas we have arable land that we can develop, produce, and then employ people. And we refuse to stuff our markets with imported products when we have the resources and we have the everything we need.
Thank you very much. Candidate of AA.
Between March and April, I will give 1,000 youths in Anambra State at least 100,000 to start little industries. If you do very well, after 6 months, I will give you more. That's number one. Then number two is this. We are going to have our own cement industry to reduce the high cost of living in the house rent in Anambra State. Then again, we're going to have our fertilizer industry. We're going to invest massively in agriculture. Then again, I will meet with all the importers, because we have a lot of importers in Anambra State. We are going to sit down together in Oka and discuss how we are going to produce all those things we are importing from China. We bring our money, they'll bring their money, we make a lot of industries in Anambra State. Unemployment will be solved. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Candidate of the ACD.
Well, what's happening in Anambra reminds me of the American Depression after the World War II. Subsequently, government had to be involved in almost every facet of American life to resuscitate United States. And then there was the Industrial Revolution. We need a repeat of that, and government has to be involved. So if I'm elected as a governor, we will establish Anambra Nigeria Limited. Anambra Nigeria Limited will get into the business of business. We are Igbos. That's what we do very well. We will tell Dangote, the Igbos are coming. We will first of all build an airport in Oka, establish an Anambra airline, and then after we do that, then industrialization will take off. We will have Anambra Power Holding Company. Thank you, Goodluck Jonathan, for liberalizing the power sector. And as soon as we have enough power, all sorts of industrialization will take off. You know, the rice mills, Anambra Cement, Anambra Steel, like he said, and all sorts of companies. And then we'll have 10 microfinance banks.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please, I'd like to appeal to the audience here. So please give the candidates an opportunity to espouse their programs. No cheering, no jeering. Please, candidate of the ACPN.
Yeah, I have a Marshall Plan for industrialization of Anambra State. Anything was doing well. Now we cannot go to stone age of having industries, allowing any sort of person to do delve into industry. Now I'm going to bring in, I said I'm going to bring in 4 blue chips industries in Anambra State. They are going to transfer technology. They are not coming here to make only money or to give us employment. They are transferring the technology. So we have to start from this millennium, not going back. So, you know, when a kid trains a kid, 2 of them are still kids. So we allow the people that know the game to come in, to establish.
Thank you very much. Candidate of the AD.
Thank you very much. Industrialization is very, very necessary. But as I said earlier, we have to start somewhere. Agro-industries, using the products of the farmers. Again, we talk of failed industries. Why do those industries fail? Because they were established in areas that have no economic value, maybe to suit one godfather or the other. So my government will make sure that we establish industries where there is economic advantage. If it is agro-based areas we produce food, then we look into what made all those industries fail and correct them, because most of them, the failures come from within the government. It's tremors from within the government. So we have to check them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ide.
This question goes to the candidate of ABGA, and it's on foreign debts. Anambra is alleged to be in debt as a result of loans taken from the World Bank and other financial institutions. If not well managed, this could turn out to be mortgaging the future of the state and its citizens. So if elected governor, what will be your attitude to foreign debts and its management?
Well, this will distinguish me from my other colleagues because of my expertise as a fund manager and capital fundraiser of a world-class bank. It is not correct that the Anambra State position, you need to understand the nature of the debt of Anambra. There are donor agencies, counterpart funding, about 80% of what you just said are counterpart funding money from Millennium Development Goals. These are not money you're going to pay back, but you have to have the character to attract them. When, before administration of Governor Peter Obi, the governor that was there, all the donor agencies left the environment purely because they couldn't work with that kind of character. But somebody like me, with a tested pedigree, that their names are phone call away to developing that, will ensure that those money flows. It is important to mention this because if you remove the 3.2 billion that is generated monthly from the federal, that is attracted monthly by the federal government, and you remove the recurrent expenditure that is close to 2.2, what is left clearly will not enable you to do some of the infrastructure that I've had my people say. But in my own structure, I have a plan. I know how to attract the remaining balance of the money. They are not going to be debt in any form that will mortgage the future of our country. There will be counterpart funding. There will be donor agencies. It's for you to allay yourself, prepare yourself to be able to attract those kinds of funds. You know, if you are a debtor and you have a pedigree for not paying your debts, those agencies will not give you money. They have to give you money because you're tested, people like me, and because you know how to manage the money, because you've done it for a world-class bank. These are the people that they will listen to. Thank you.
The CPP?
Yeah, where there is fiscal discipline, the donor agencies, the world bodies are likely to play ball, are likely to respond. Quite a lot of projects are ongoing here from the World Bank, from UNDP, from UNEP, from DFID. What they require is there must be due diligence, there must be action plans, and there must be stages, phases, where they are going to find out what we have used with the money. With the plans I have, every fund that comes in the form of a loan will be well utilized. And the ones that are existing, there will be no further loans until we have found out what the old ones were used for. But there must be loans because the resources of the state, until I have worked and developed it, will not be enough to sustain the development I want to do. There will be more loans, but we have to use due diligence and good fiscal discipline.
Thank you. Please, at this point, I want to re-emphasize that there should be no direct attacks amongst you. You are all debaters, and a high sense of decency and decorum is expected in the course of this debate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The candidate of the AA.
Thank you very much.
Audience, please. Audience, please.
Thank you very much. Anambra State has a lot of rich people, so we are not afraid of debt. Our problem is that we are not in peace.
Silence, please.
And I believe that if we are in peace, a lot of rich people in Anambra State are looking for somebody we work with. And that's being a neutral person who has no political enemy. If I become the governor of Anambra State, a lot of people who have run away out of this state will come home, and together we shall develop Anambra State. Thank you very much.
At the SCD?
Well, first of all, we have to get our house in order. Bad governance, like I said, the after effects is so many. The era of godfatherism must come to pass. It cannot be tolerated in a decent state like ours. It's almost alluded to slavery, where people dish out money in order so that people can vote for them, and then when they win, they owe the godfather or whatever a lot of chunk of our money. I can't believe we're in debt, and yet billions are being thrown around like candies in a state where unemployment is so high and people are hungry. So what we're going to have to do is that we have to get back to the table, get our house in order, get it well structured, get back to the drawing board, and restructure these loans and put it on hold, or maybe pay little at a time. You have to spend money to make money, all right? Money makes money. So we find a way, attract more funds, and spend it in everything that we have to do so that we can industrialize our state. We are Igbos, man. We fight the Biafran War. You know, we created. We can do this.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
The ACPN.
Yes, about debt management. I must commend P2B in this aspect. He has done very well in debt management. He has exercised some fiscal discipline. I think I have to toe his way if I'm elected the governor of Anambra State. If not for anything, he has cut that pipe, those insatiable, unpretentious, egomaniacal godfathers put into our funds, siphoning them. He has broken all of them. So I'm not going to allow godfather, nothing like that. I'm going to spend any money that comes to me judiciously, not recklessly. Thank you.
The AD.
In my own view, I cannot here outrightly say that we continue with so-called foreign loans, which is contemporary counterpart funds. In my government, we set up a high-powered committee, which include seasoned traditional rulers, public servants, and even the labor, to study if those counterpart funds paid, we get reasonable feedback. Because if I can say, if I will pay 100 million counterpart for agriculture, and it will go into the drains, you use that 100 million and the farm, make government plan, making farms for our farmers to use. But when we study it, I will not say no or yes for now. Thank you very much.
The APC, sir.
Fellow Nigerians and Indian Anambra, when a lie is told and you leave it unchallenged, it sticks and it becomes the truth. It is not true that it's the ABGA government that brought back donor agencies here to this state. I was the one who brought the donor agencies back. UNICEF, World Bank through the Health System Fund, DFID, I brought them back by paying off the old loan of counterpart funding that was owed by this state. The records are there. So it is not true for somebody to come here and claim it's an ABGA government and say that they didn't do business with the previous government. That's one. Two, it is also for people to note, especially the Anambrarians, that I took no foreign loan throughout my stay here, 33 months. But the ABGA government here have taken multiplicity of foreign loans, including taking a loan from the Muslim bank called Jazz Bank. And they denied it. And the records are there and was made open in the Senate by the National Planning Commission Minister. Thank you.
Thank you. I think at this point, please, audience, please. At this point, the candidates have really spoken. I would like us to take follow-up questions from what you have actually reeled out. And I will start with the candidate of the CPP. You mentioned, of course, you have about 38,000 workers here in Anambra State, fiscal discipline. I want to ask you, what tangible strategies are you going to put in place for fiscal discipline to thrive? It's not just the rhetoric, it's strategies.
Yeah, let me start by saying, there must be studies for every project. Feasibility studies that will be weighted, a multidisciplinary team if it is something in the environment and in other sectors. You don't jump into projects because funds are available. There must be planning ahead. You have financial experts, you have professionals in various fields, whatever field, agriculture, education, health, environment. There must be people who will go through the due diligence and give you the parameters to use and then plan how that money is going to be used. Because if you don't have a plan ahead of getting the funds, you'll run into problems. But most importantly, I have to say this. Any government that manages to attract these loans must have something on ground. I think to that extent, P2B's government has done very well in attracting foreign loans. Fiscal discipline must be there before they come in the first place. But what happens is that maybe through the downstream ends, things don't work out the way they should. But definitely with me as a technocrat, I will fix all the little...
How would you fix those leakages? That's the question.
That's what I'm saying. You use professionals and use checks and balances. There must be checks and balances in the system. You don't throw money at people. People are hungry. People are greedy all over. But when you use experts, they have professional pride. They won't like to sully their names because they want to make money, and they think about tomorrow. But most importantly, time has come for people to bother about their names and not about wealth. If you are given a job as a contractor, if you are given a job as a consultant, you have to be able to deliver. I delivered in all that I did for the World Bank, in all that I did for the UNDP, in all that I did for Anambra State government. And that is why I'm still very much in demand. Thank you.
Thank you. The candidate of the AA, you've talked about social welfare so much in your statements. You talked about 50% cut in public offices, office holders. You will cut 50% of the salaries. You've talked about building staff quarters. You said you would dish out about 100,000 naira to youths. You'll meet with importers. This is a lot of money. Do you know how much Anambra State earns now? And do you think that Anambra State has that capacity to do all this which you're talking about?
Yes, I believe so much because earlier I stated that Anambra is one of the richest states in Nigeria. We have a lot of rich people. Most of them are outside Nigeria. And most of them watch our poor people dying. And they are thinking of a way to come home. But because there's no peace in Anambra State, and because they are afraid of our youth, so we are trying to make our youth happy. So when these people come home, they will leave them alone. Our youth are hungry. When we give them these promises, and when we start implementing them, let me tell you, so many people who have that passion to help the poor will return home. And money will flow. Look at how much money that is flowing now because of election. That will tell you we have a lot of money in this state. And so many people have money, but they don't know what to use it for. And because they don't have government they trust, because they don't have somebody they like working with, because they don't have somebody who can be a servant to them, a servant leader, they are not coming to Anambra State government to spend their money, rather they waste it. So I am coming up as the next governor of Anambra State to bring all the rich people together and to show Nigeria that light will start beaming from Anambra State with this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The ACD, you mentioned 20,000 naira welfare. You talked about CCTV for security purposes. You talked about building an airport in Oka. Have you considered that your neighboring state, Delta State has an airport, Enugu State has an airport? Is it a viable venture to build an airport in Anambra? That's one. Then number two, the 20,000 naira social welfare. Do you know how many people are currently residing in Anambra State? What's the population of Anambra and what that will cost you?
Right. Well, that's a very good question. I expected. And first of all, Anambra, we cannot take second class, second fiddle to anybody. We're supposed to be the best and the best there is. You understand that, ma'am? So I don't care whether you have airport in Asaba, in Enugu, or even anywhere else. Anambra must have its own airport. We have the best market, Onitsha market. I went to school at MMGS and DMGS. I went to that market. And now the market is an inferior market. You know, we are very good in business. We must have our own airport, ma'am. Now, as far as the 20,000 goes, that's not social welfare. It is not. These people will give 40 hours to the state. They will work 40 hours in the new Department of Insecurity. They will cure insecurity. Ma'am, if you don't cure insecurity, I can tell you, none of my American colleagues will come here. Our own people will not come home. So we have to cure that, okay? The population of Anambra is about 6 or 6.5 million. Our youths occupy the middle, all right? About 2 million, okay? A lot of them are still going to college or universities. So, and a lot of them have finished youth corps, haven't got jobs. There are some that are going to youth corps. So the active population that needs a job is about 250,000, ma'am, all right? When we do that, when we pay them their 20,000, remember they're working 40 hours a week. to cure insecurity, which you must cure, or else nothing else, there will be a standstill. Now, when you do that, obviously, industrialization and everything else will start coming in. Airport, I'm telling you, we have to have an airport. There's no way around it in the capital Okra. And we have to do a bunch of other stuff. I have that capacity, being a trusted ex-professor of universities in the United States. I've lived there for 30 years. All I want to do is make Anambra one of the best. We will attract a lot of funds from philanthropists. We will attract a lot of recurrable loans.
Thank you. Ide has a follow-up question for the APGA candidate.
Yeah, you talked about being able to attract foreign investment to Anambra State. But Anambra is the 8th most populated state and the 2nd most densely populated after Lagos. Lagos is now talking about 20 billion naira internally generated revenue a month. As governor, what would you be thinking about for internally generated revenue rather than foreign loans?
In the medium to long term, my activities in the agriculture and the oil and gas area that will trickle in these new industries will significantly improve the revenue base of Anambra State in terms of payee and in terms of other collections that will come from that activity. For as we speak, Anambra gets an average of 0.6 billion in internally generated revenue, which is a lot of, which is quite some increase when you consider what we were getting 8 years ago that was paltry, below 200 million. You know, but the important thing here is this internally generated revenue will significantly improve through these industries that will be created. Apart from tying the loopholes in terms of using electronic means to collect the revenue, it's always better through the banks. That's always the preferred option. I understand that in most of the areas in Anambra now, we're still not using the electronic means to do that through the banks. If we do that, we probably on its own improve this 0.6 to about 1 billion. But that is far cry from the kinds of money that is required for this project. And therefore, you must earn more revenue through industrialization, through ensuring that the industries you set up, which will create job, will increase your revenue base. It's really important. And that's what is distinguishing me in this race. Ability to create this job, attract more revenue for the state, be in a position to get employment for all our youths, thereby reducing the quantum of people that are unemployed and reduce security challenges we have, you know, and what have you. It's also important, and it's on record, and it's a matter of fact that before the administration of Governor Peter Obi, the only agency that was that the presidency then inherited was from World Bank. They left during that tenure. And it is on record that there was no agency attracted by that government.
Thank you.
All were attracted by Governor Peter Obi.
Thank you, please. I have a follow-up question for the candidate of the APC. You've talked about being a medical doctor of many years. You also talked about your curative approach for insecurity. You're telling Anambrarians to trust you again to continue what you did from 2003 to 2006. Why should Anambarians trust you? Because after being a governor, you are now in the Senate. What meaningful things are you going to be doing this time? What have you even done as a senator? Why should they send you a second time? And what will you be doing differently? That is one follow-up. The second one is, as a medical doctor, what do you think is the greatest risk facing the state? The greatest risk facing development?
Well, let me go from your first question, because a double-barrel question. I was here, and I was here for 33 months. You asked why they should trust me. They should trust me because in the 33 months I was saddled here, life was better than what it is now. Go to security. When I was here, you can sleep with your two eyes closed. I did extraordinary inventions. I employed people who are indigenous of this state to guide their state. I paid them a meaningful wage to be part of the vigilante services that was synchronized with Nigerian police force. And we ring this state. Robbers didn't come here. Kidnappers didn't come here. Today, this is a robber's den. This is a kidnapper's heaven. and people don't come back home anymore. Security is all you should start with before you talk about any other development. I gave them roads. They were not able to move before. I gave them roads linking all the local government headquarters to Oka, the capital. And I did not give them inferior quality roads. The roads they got 8 years after I left, some of them are bad now. They are gone bunkers, potholes all riddled, all over the place. The roads I built 9 years ago are still there. You can take a tour after this session. They are shining. In the Senate, I have moved about 7 amendment bills. But the bills don't matter. What matters is the money bill, budget, because that's where you appropriate and take things down to your constituency. I have constituency projects littered all over my 7 local government areas of my senatorial zone. Talk in terms of schools, talk in terms of electricity, talk in terms of water supply, talk in terms of solar light system, talk in terms of even handcraft centers and computer centers, skill acquisition centers. They're all there. And they're there for people to see. In science, you see them, not earmark. They're there. We didn't earmark them.
Okay, thank you. For the APGA candidates, you've been talking about jobs. How many jobs would you create when Anambra State hopefully votes in APGA again? How many jobs?
The Federal Bureau of Statistics says that unemployment in Anambra is 12.5%. And they also base it on the 2006 population census of 4.6 billion people. We all know, million people. We all know that the population has increased. But having said that, if you go by that figure, you get a figure that leaves you with 560-something thousand unemployment. However, among these 500-something thousand, there are kids and what have you. So if you take a reasonable percentage of it, we'll be talking about 250,000 people that are not employed. What I've said is that those job creation that we're going to get from working in agriculture, in oil and gas, plus the non-agro-based industries that are coming from Nnewi for the spare parts and what have you, will clearly absorb all these youths. Because in agriculture alone, will take up almost 80% of those slacks. Because the industries that will come in packaging, in manufacturing, in processing, will take up almost half of that number. The industries that will come from the oil and gas areas, using the local content arrangements and arranging them in clusters to be able to enable them get funding and benefit from the value chain, activities and shared services, will certainly mop up the rest. So during the APGA administration, I'm telling the youth that they will be fully employed. We are going to also restore what makes the youth tick in terms of sports activities and what have you. It's important to mention that before Governor P2B, the number of roads that were constructed was 197 kilometers of road. And they were not current certified. All the roads, which will be about 1,000 by the end of the tenure of this administration, are current certified.
Thank you. Imoni, please.
All right, candidate of the AG, you have spoken about agro-industries, provision of agro-industries.
Audience, please. Audience, please.
We want you to go to
Quiet,
specifics.
please.
We want you to go into specifics about how you intend to develop these agro-industries and which of them will be your priority.
Thank you very much. I talked about agro-industries because I believe that if we give real support to farmers, they will produce food. And not only food, the products will be used for industries, which will attract people from outside. So we have to make sure that we give loans to the rural farmers, cooperative societies, in time, and with very small interest rate, so that they can produce more foods, all types, both arable, both livestock and others. Then if you do that, you see that so many people will now be enjoying it, and yet doing the job, and will now use it as well for industries. Some can be processed for foreign exchange, send it outside, get foreign exchange. It's not only by getting loans from World Bank that we can get foreign exchange. You You can get it by industrialization. So that is what I mean about that. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Let me come back to the candidate of the AA. Let's look at rural development. Anambra State is a densely populated state, and close to 70% of its people live in the rural areas. But we all seem most times to just concentrate on the urban centers. What agenda do you have for rural development?
All the industries that we build in Anambra State will be built in rural area, in the rural areas. And that's the best formula to drive people from urban to rural area. And most of the local governments we have in Anambra State, most of them are in rural area, the headquarters. So, and I told you that we are going to build staff quarters for them. And also in the rural area, I will establish community banks, microfinance banks. All the youth in those rural areas who live in that rural area will go to that bank and source for loan. And you know, I found it difficult to get loan as an Anambrarian to finance my company. All effort I made, I approached all levels of government to give me money to establish my own business. None of them gave me one kobo. But I will give youth a lot of money to establish their own companies. And I will do that to those, most of them who are in rural area. I will not do much of that in urban. So I want most of the youth to go down to their villages. I will fully establish them and make them rich people. I promise Anambra this when I am elected.
Candidate of the ACD.
Well, obviously we have to do a lot of work in the rural area. And like he said...
okay, excuse me, I want to emphasize no reading from any text. Thank you.
I'm not reading, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm not reading. All I'm about to say is that we have a brochure here. We're going to pass it around maybe after the debate, whereby the roadmap to getting Anambra to be #1 again is well deleted. I mean, it's well written. And hopefully everybody will have that. Yeah, the era of industrialization will be coming if I become your next governor. And most of those industries, like I said, will be located in the rural area. I had the opportunity to go to Nzam, and on my way back, we're talking about roads. It rained from Nzam to Omo, and we were stuck in the road for 12 hours. I had a lady, Amanda, who came from the United States. She's a white lady. She was working with me. We were stuck in the jungle. We slept there, and we were beaten by at least 3 million mosquitoes. The road was terrible. Amanda, who's a white girl, was covered with red bumps all over her body. She got sick. We had to send her back to the United States. All right? So industrialization will take...
Candidates of the ACPN.
Particularly rice mill.
Audience, please. Thank you.
The industries I'm talking about are going to be sited in rural areas. When I cite those things, those industries in rural areas, it will now de-urbanize the cities. The cities, the people will be moving from city to the rural areas. And that rural areas, in time, will not be rural again. Now, I will construct an airport to help these industries send out their goods. Because if we talk of new industries, all these things are going around Anambra, no outside link. If you want to send a common crayfish to overseas, you have to run to Asaba. You have to go to Enugu. You have to go to Port Harcourt or Lagos.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Candidate of the AD. AD, yes.
Okay, still on that.
Yes, on your plans for integrated rural development.
Okay, very, very good. I have said that since most of our people are in the rural area, we have to make sure that we build roads for them. So that after planting, you can see how to transport it to the towns. Again, I have said that there is need to reduce income tax and industrial tax. Reason is that if you reduce income tax, you may ask me from where do you get money because more people will pay voluntarily. If you reduce the industrial tax, People will open up industries for jobs to be created. We will also reduce education fees in public schools so as to curb dropout from schools and increase school enrollment. This is my plans.
Thank you very much, candidate of the APC.
Yes, I have already talked about the roads we built before, that they were from local government to the state capital in Awka. But more importantly, all the industries we talked about that will be agro-based will be sited at the nearest point of agriculture. We intend to open up what we call graduate youth employment scheme in agriculture. Put up a quasi-farm settlement scheme. They are housed, they are fed, you keep transport for them, and you give them stipend. And with that, you get them in there. There will be a health center there. All the health centers in Anambra State have been abandoned. We need to refurbish them, we need to re-equip them, and we need to put in personnel there, especially you call doctors and nurses and midwives. We also have to put good educational schools there, schools for their children. If you don't do that, you still have urban drift. The school system today is that we are handing most of our schools to missionaries. Good scheme, which I approved and started when I was here. But today, as we speak,
thank you.
The public schools are neglected.
Thank you very much, candidate of ABGA.
Fact one. Fact one is the 196 kilometers of road built before this administration, 99% of them were done in the Idemili area. That is fact one. And that is a little selfish approach to
integrated rural development.
And beyond that, what we're going to do in integrated development is that we are going to continue the expansion of the roads to enable people in the villages benefit from selling of their products to a larger market. Secondly, we are going to do rural electrification. As we speak, 18 local governments have been, rural electrification has been done in 18 local governments, remaining 3 local governments to complete. By the time the power base, the power that we talked about, that we generate 470 kilowatts of energy, commences first quarter. Why is that? It's because the turbines, the barge, the gas that will come from Egypt are still in the process of being done. By the time they articulate that, we will have more than enough energy to
Thank you very much, candidate of the CPP.
Thank you. Our rural people mostly live on the ecosystem. They're either farmers, or they do sand mining, or stone quarrying, and so on. So the first thing is to secure the environment, because it is the rural to urban migration that is the major cause of overpopulation in our urban areas, which is why we have urban slums all over, which is why most of our cities are not livable. So if you keep them at home, give them infrastructure, help them to realize their life ambitions, fund agriculture, mechanize agriculture, help them to form cooperatives, help them to access loans, friendly loans, one-digit loans. Presently, the Bank of Agriculture gives 10%. You can reduce it to 5% through negotiation. Then more water. A lot of our streams have disappeared because of poor environmental management. They must be opened up, and people must have potable water to have good health. But most importantly, it is important that you help the people in the rural areas to have fulfillment. Medical facilities, I will send mobile doctors to take care of them so that people...
Thank you.
Ide.
I will start with the candidate of the ACD. Anambra State has produced some of the most world-renowned educationists, politicians. In fact, in all spheres of life, Anambra took a lead. We had the professors. Now, I'm saying to you, what exactly do you have as a plan to return Anambra to these glorious educational years?
Thanks for a good question, and that reiterates the fact that right now we're lagging behind. We're the worst of the worst, and we're supposed to be the best of the best. Thank you very much. And I'm a symbol of that. Education is a priority, and that's the pedestal we must stand. So as a result of that, I add free tuition. I add scholarship from Anambra State. So I intend to make education free again for everyone, all the way from primary school to a PhD if they want to, or medical schools. And furthermore, our population is growing rapidly. In the year 2050, Nigeria will be the 4th largest country in the world in terms of population. Our population will be 400. It might even be higher than United States of America, even though we occupy an area as large as Texas. So there has to be 5 new universities, okay, in order to cope with the burgeoning population. I have a friend, Patrick Onyechi. Her daughter was refused admission at Ahmadu Bello. You know, she had the best result in JAM. The only reason they told her that is because she's Igbo. So we're getting to a point where our students may not have anywhere to go. So we must build 5 new universities, 5 new government colleges, 5 new secondary schools, a new high-tech, you know, a state-of-the-art institute of technology. This is the internet era, folks. We're still in the dark ages in Anambra. We have to move forward with the rest of the world. We have to digitalize everywhere. We have to produce technicians and IT engineers to cope with this. We have to invest in this. We must invest in our future, or else we'll lose them. We'll be like the black American kids that just do crime, drink beer, and go after women, and then end up in jail. We cannot allow that to happen to a wonderful, glorious state. Used to be glorious, you know, the state that produced Chinua Achebe. And that's what we must do. We need serious governance that we focus on the people, serve them, be servants, and not despots.
The SCPN.
What was the...
That Anambra has produced severally world-renowned people, education-wise.
Yeah.
What's your own plan to return Anambra to those glorious days?
We have planned. ACPN has planned for that, education-wise. When I came to Nigeria, I went to UNIZIG. I found out the education is nothing to write home about. I started a kind of exchange program between UNIZIG, engineering students, between UNIZIG and the University Gesamthochschule Essen in Germany. You know, so that was what I did first, which was a very big landmark. You know, now they have an exchange program where they have backed engineers are going to go to be thoroughly backed and come out as pure engineers.
The AD?
My plan will be to ensure, I've even answered that part of the question, when I said that to reduce school fees. That will now encourage enrollment and reduce dropouts. When you have more people in school, then the future is high for producing them. If you don't have them now, you cannot give them, they are not by magic. So we make sure that even we build technical schools so that those who may be interested in that line, we go. Build teacher training schools so that they produce trained teachers and not auxiliary teachers so that they teach correctly. So by doing all those things, I think education will be high in future. Thank you very much.
The APC.
Anambra not only produced Professor Chinua Achebe, we are the home of Professor Kenneth Dike and Professor Chikobi, the mathematician. When I was here, we won a prize for Anambra State through our program. We were rated the 5th best education ethics-friendly state in Nigeria. We also won the prize in 2007 under the ASUBEB assessment program done for 2004, 2005, 2006. I articulated the primary school and the JSS system conjointly. I made it free when I was here. I'm going to make it free up to SSS 3 this time around. We also faced the teachers. We recruited more teachers. So we increased the quantity of the teachers. We also increased their quality. We sent them on refresher course and retraining. We paid them their allowances that were owed them and paid them their salaries as and when due. This time around, we're going to pay our teachers the minimum wage with a relativity.
The ABGA, please.
Well, before 8 years ago, the school system in Anambra was almost zero. As we speak, a lot of effort has been put into the infrastructure, which in all the local governments, through the ANIX program. It's also important to note that we will continue with those improvements in infrastructure. We will also touch the curriculum in the secondary school to include vocational things. You know, we've crunched the figure. We have 478,000 enrollment in the secondary school. And, and they pay 9,000 naira per annum on school fees. We are going to make that free for them. And for the people that is primary and secondary school. And for the very brilliant ones, we are going to give them scholarship to train in the universities. Beyond that, we will, because we are talking about quality education, this administration did well by returning the schools to the missions. And therefore...
Thank you.
Time up, please. CPP.
Thank you. We are all products. Everybody here from 40 years down is a product of the public education system. But we have allowed it to collapse because of poor planning. We have people, children who go to school without good education, who come out without being employable. It shows that there is decay. There is a problem somewhere. For a state, like you said, who have such pedigree, that is not acceptable. We have to go back to the basics. First, you have to incentivize teaching. A lot of people are no more interested in teaching, and the salaries are hardly living wages. So they keep jobs by the side, and their jobs suffer. Now we have to employ also more teachers, people in the relevant professions. We are talking about technology, industrialization. People must start having the orientation from primary school. Out of about 1.6 million children who leave primary school, only about 300,000 go to secondary school. Something happens in between. There is no more motivation for education. People rather trade. People rather go into Okada riding and so on. Therefore, we have to make education more interesting by...
Thank you.
The AA.
Thank you very much. We all know that Mr. Peter Obi has invested much in education by raising a lot of infrastructure in schools. But a lot more has to be done. And that area is in the area of employment of teachers. Our schools lack teachers. In primary schools, you will see 2 teachers teaching in the whole primary schools. I have visited so many communities in Anambra, I discovered that they don't have teachers in primary. And primary education is not what you're going to toy with. That is where you start training the children for future. I will employ teachers, able-bodied men, not just tired women who cannot control the children in the school. There are so many able-bodied young men who are graduates. We are going to employ them in our schools, and they will train our children. We have intelligent Anambrarians, but we lack teachers in our schools. We are going to employ them, pay them well, promote them, and pay them their gratuities, and make sure that they are happy. If you make teachers happy, I'm telling you, our education will come back to normal. And we are going to give scholarship. We are going to reduce the tuition fee in higher institutions so that the poor people should send their children to school.
Thank
you very much.
At this point, we're gradually coasting to the end of the debate. Time, of course, isn't our friend. So we'll be asking you your closing statements. But some areas we haven't touched, which I would like you to perhaps address in the 2 minutes you have, that of children's rights, women's protection, the physically challenged, as well as the elderly, because they're part of the society. So you can include that in your closing statement. So I will start with the candidate of the ACPN, please.
Now, I didn't talk of sports facility. I have to talk about sports facilities. We don't have stadium in Anambra State. You know that if you have stadium, it brings in people. And once movement of people is movement of money. Now I'm going to construct a very good standard, internationally standard stadium in Anambra State, where sports events could be organized. Now, physically challenged people, I have an interest in there. I'll be building ramps in every road. I'll be constructing ramps where they can go easily, not steps, the way it is being done in overseas. Women have to be empowered. You know, why we talk about women development is because they are not empowered. Once you empower them, we forget about this gender discrimination or anything. So I will empower women. Airport. I'm going to construct airport in Anambra State. I've constructed an airport in Düsseldorf, Germany. The people are ready to come and help me out. So security, I'm in contact with artists of Israel, the best security gadgets company in the world. So they are coming to help our vigilantes, bringing in pinging machines to be pinging all the criminals, to be nipping the crime at the bud. So they are coming. Anambra State is going to be like London very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. The candidate of the AD, your closing statement, you may incorporate what you want to incorporate and why you think Anambarians should vote for you in the next elections.
I would say that my government will be purely based on human face. It will have high human face and good relationship, so both with workers, traders, artisans, and even politicians. This is because without that human face, you are not going to any place. We will not politicize non-political issues like the traditional institutions, the trade unions, the market unions. We allow each to do their duty so that there will be harmony. We will totally and vehemently abhor all sorts of using contractors to collect revenue. After all, we claim money is not coming, but it may be being lost in some other ways. So the civil servant, the public servant, we made to collect dues, which is their fundamental duty. We make sure that, like I've said earlier, there are areas I believe the outgoing government of P2B has done well, and we have to continue those ones. But those areas we feel we have not done well, we have to change them. Areas that are not done so well, we have to advance something there. I think if we do that with human face administration, all-inclusive administration, there will be no problem in Anambra State.
Thank you. Candidates of the APC.
I want to come back to Anambra State again so that for women and children, I can give women and children free medical care, especially the pregnant women. It's mandatory. I want even to up it and treat malaria free as a medical doctor here in this enclave. I want to come back so that I can complete my 30,000 capacity stadium that have been abandoned for 8 years. I have the design. The contractors have done about 30% of the work. I will complete it. I want to come back to give Anambra people an airport at Omambala so that we can use our own airport. 80% of those using Enugu airport and 80% of those using Asaba come from Anambra. Our own is our own. Nkembu nkem, nkanyi bu nkanyi. I want to come back so that I can give Anambra State a sense of belonging. I want to promote civil servants as and when due. I want to pay the minimum wage. The present government pays 18,200 to grade level 1. And my friend says it's minimum wage. It's not. There's a relativity curve you have to draw. So that civil servants of grade level 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 can get appreciable percentage rise in their pay. I want to come back so that I can put good roads. The roads they are getting down is not good quality road. I got along the road in this place again. And I want to get you also.
Audience, please. No clapping, no cheering. Thank you. Candidate of ABGA, your closing statement.
On women, a minimum of 35% of the appointments will go to women. We will also do, like I said in my manifesto, free medical antenatal for women, but for very indigent ones, full payment for delivery. We're also going to, for the physically challenged, we're going to build 3 special schools in the 3 senatorial districts that will take care of our physically challenged people. We're going to pass a law that will recognize the place of the disabled in the construction of our buildings. The parking lot where there will be, the toilet arrangements and what have you should reflect the fact that we have disabled in our society. On the senior citizens, 70 and above, like I said in my figures, in my blueprint, we are going to give them free medical treatment at that senior level. Gentlemen, I'm here to industrialize Anambra State. Believe me, I've done it before. A chartered accountant of repute, a chartered accountant of repute, I would attract the funds. You know, the current administration, the roads he built were not certified by CORED. Fact 1. You cannot, if you're not certified by CORED, you build roads that doesn't make sense. Roads in his own community. That's not what I'm going for. I'm going to be the governor of Anambra State, not that of my local government area, like my predecessor, the fellow talking is.
Please, thank you. Candidate of the CPP, your closing statement.
Kudos to everybody who has ruled us since 1999.
Excuse me. Please go ahead.
No.
The debaters. Thank you. Go ahead,
Can I
please.
start now?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I say I'm grateful to everybody who has ruled us since 1999, including Senator Chris Ngige here. They've all done well. Kudos to P2B. He has started it. I am looking at governance as a mining project. Somebody discovers the field, another person prospects, some other person mines, and another person will refine. I have come to refine the things that have been done already in Anambra State. Yeah. And having said that, first, we must protect our environment. We are losing our productive land. All these things we are saying will not work unless we return our lands. Erosion, gulling, and flooding is causing a lot of problem here. Then, oil and gas. You all know about the problems in the south of Nigeria. I'm not sure the measures have been taken to protect those communities. I am going to look at it. We are going to look at all the papers again to make sure we don't have south problems in Anambra State, much as we want oil revenue. Then finally, there should be cultural revolution. I am tired of hearing, we are the light of the nation, by the way. I'm tired of hearing when people make denigrating remarks about us, that we are crooked. God made us very resourceful people, and God cannot make you resourceful and make you a crook. We are victims of circumstance. Let's come home and reorganize. P2B, I should succeed him and move Anambra State forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate of AA.
Okay, already a woman is my deputy, and the 30% of my political appointees will be youths, and also 30% of my political appointees will be women, then the rest, men. And also, I will establish Ministry of Children, disabled, and the aged. I'll be paying the aged above 80 years salary, and also little children between age 1 and age 5 salaries. And the pregnant women should be taken very good care of. Then there will be maintenance culture on the roads built by Dr. Chris Ngige and P2B. I will maintain them and build more. Then payment of minimum wage, I've said that. Free education, 20,000 youths will be employed before August. That one is not negotiable. Then we're going to keep our youth busy so that they will no longer be a thorn in our flesh. Then there should be local government election before June next year. If that of December does not hold, then, and I will make sure that peace will return in Anambra. Because as you see, I'm a neutral person, I don't have political enemy. If I become your governor, there will be peace in Anambra State. There will be no court case, there will be no problem anywhere. I'm assure you that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Candidate of the ACD, please.
And this is what we got. We have one of the worst states in the nation. So it's time to change direction. Your big parties are all into party intrigues, just saturated with court cases and all kind of stuff, because they've forgotten about you. They remind me of Genesis 4:9. God said to Cain, Cain, where's the brother? And Cain said, I'm not their brother's keeper. I don't believe they've been keeping their brothers very well. So you need a governor that will keep their brother, to worry about their brother, and be humble to be a good servant. Women will be 50% of my cabinet. It's equal rights everywhere. That's what it is in the United States. Children, I'm a pediatrician, I'm a newborn intensivist, and Anambra is an intensive phase. And it requires an intensivist to cure it of his diseases. And that's exactly what I would do as a medical doctor. There will be more hospitals built to reduce our infant mortality. Infant mortality, when 1,000 children are born today, how many will die at the end of 1 year? In 1974, when Dr. Ngige and I were medical students, it was 54. Today, it's 200. More children are dying in Anambra than ever before. We must change that. And you need a serious governor to change that. And the rest of the stuff is just happening. Bad roads everywhere. They keep talking about roads. There's none in Awka, the capital. Awka has to be uplifted to be a respectable capital, folks. We need to do that.
Thank you. Thank
All right?
you.
Thank you.
Okay, at this point, audience, please, no clapping, no cheering. Audience, please, can we still respect the rules of the debate? We are still within the debate. I want to say many thanks to the candidates, but at this point, I want to invite the chairman of the Nedg for the presentation of certificates. He is Aramotai Limi. He will also be joined by Reverend Guinea Kanwa, the managing director of Anambra State Broadcasting Service, ABS. Okay, at this point, we can take off their microphones while they also shake hands and embrace each other.
Well, good afternoon, and once again, we have come to the end of the first session today. Governorship candidates have been participating. We commend the participants for being here. The non-participatory audience has been disruptive today and violated the national and international debate rule. You have been on live television throughout the world, and it is sad that you have been violating the debate rule. It shouldn't happen. I commend the moderator and the panelists and the timekeeper for the professional and matured way of handling the session. The second session is at 4 p.m., and participants and guests are to arrive at 3 p.m. Once again, we thank the governorship candidates for participation. God will continue to be with all of you.
Amen.
We now want to present certificate of participation.
Okay, as the candidates and the chairman, Nedg, as well as the managing director of ABS post for a photo session, we want to thank everyone that has been part of this debate. First, of course, to the various candidates of the different political parties, as well as the audience seated with us. This event has been powered by DAR Communications PLC in providing the TV signals and FRCN for radio signals. This event has also been supported by INEC, USAID, IRI, UNDP, BORN, NOA, and ABS. Please join us again by 4 p.m., just like the chairman, Nedg, said, for the evening session. Thank you again for joining us. On behalf of the panel, I am Nancy Ilu.